Well, the oh gosh, the Metallo to Trump's Cobra commander has been talking to Joe. Not Joe Biden, G.I. Joe. Look, the point is Rudy Giuliani. It looks like he's desperate to stay out of legal trouble. Now, I'm not sure if this is some nefarious plan by Giuliani just to waste everybody's time. That's also possible. But look, the one thing we've learned time and time again is that these folks are they're not smart, and they're certainly not as smart as they think they are. So if this is some complicated plan by Giuliani, I fully expect it to backfire spectacularly. But regardless, here's Ben Meiselas from the Midas Touch Network talking about how Giuliani seems to be talking about Trump business.
From the Midas Touch Network. Well, this one is a bit of a surprise, a good one for justice, that is. Special counsel Jack Smith has met with Rudy Giuliani. Yep, Rudy Giuliani agreed to voluntarily meet with special counsel Jack Smith and Jack Smith's team to provide what's called a proffer agreement between the Department of Justice and either a criminal defendant or somebody the Department of Justice is criminally investigating, or a potential high-level witness, is where the individual meeting with the Department of Justice agrees to basically tell them everything, provide everything they know about the case being investigated by the prosecutors, and it's usually in exchange for a limited immunity for just what is said during the proffer session, during that meeting. Now, if prosecutors have independent knowledge of the individual's crimes, they can still use the independent knowledge to charge that individual. If the individual...
Oh, I'm just going to keep on enjoying this. I just wanted you to see me enjoying this. I'm going to keep on doing smug suburban things behind the camera, including going, mm-hmm. But now you know.
Is found to have been lying during the proffer interview. They can be charged with perjury, but usually what is said during the proffer agreement interview, if it is truthful, has a limited immunity attached to it. So here, it looks like Rudy Giuliani is spilling the beans and basically talking about everything that went down leading up to the January 6th insurrection, on the January 6th insurrection, and after. Specifically, the topics that were discussed, according to a New York Times report. Special counsel Jack Smith's team was focused on the fake elector scheme, whereby MAGA Republicans loyal to Donald Trump affixed their names to fake electoral certificates in states that President Biden won and sent those to be counted to former Vice President Pence to declare Trump the winner in those states when President Biden was the winner of the states. There was lots of questioning about Donald Trump's lawyer, John Eastman, Donald Trump's interaction with Sidney Powell, Donald Trump's political action committees, and how Donald Trump has been using those political action committees to hire lawyers, including likely paying Rudy Giuliani. You know, we've talked about here on the Midas Touch Network how a major part of special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into Donald Trump's 2020 election interference is into money laundering and wire fraud and campaign finance violations, like when Donald Trump says he created an election defense fund and raised millions of dollars.
Okay, non-sarcastic canary catchery here. Good that we are discussing the proper issue, finally. I was all for all these other criminal cases. I'm glad that they are being investigated, finally. But all of this was just to demonstrate that Donald Trump is not above the law. What is the thing that absolutely positively needed to be addressed. Yeah, the coup attempt. Man, of course. The coup attempt. And the fact that it's taken us this long, we're going to have to deal with that. We are definitely going to have to deal with that. New mandates will have to be put in place. New rules, new ways of insisting that the people in power actually look out for everybody else's interests. But delighted to hear that we are finally getting around to the business of handling that coup. And delighted to hear that Rudy Giuliani had a look at what is lying ahead of him and decided that it's in his interest to cooperate, at least to some degree, or at least to pretend to cooperate. Now, truth be told, Ben Meiselas is going to give us a rather sobering breakdown of things Giuliani might be trying to do. But I remind you, he is not smart, period. And secondly, not nearly as smart as he thinks he is. So this probably isn't going to go great for him. Good.
Tens of millions of dollars, and no election defense fund ever existed. Also, special counsel Jack Smith was very focused in this proffer session with Rudy Giuliani about what went down at the Willard Hotel. That is the war room that was set up by those closest to Donald Trump who wanted to overthrow our government. People like Steve Bannon and Mike Flynn and Roger Stone and the InfoWars people were there. Alex Jones was there. You had Proud Boys who were outside of the Willard Hotel. They all set up this command center on June 5th. You may recall the testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson during the January 6th committee hearings, where she stated that Mark Meadows wanted to go to the Willard Hotel, and but Giuliani was there as well, obviously. And Cassidy Hutchinson said, "Why in the world would you go there? They're clearly up to no good, and you're going to get in a lot of trouble if you go to the Willard Hotel." In any event, Mark Meadows ended up calling in to people at the Willard Hotel. And it should be noted that we believe here at the Midas Touch Network, and many other legal observers believe as well, that Mark Meadows is cooperating with Special Counsel Jack Smith and Special Counsel Jack Smith's team, and likely did a proffer session as well. In addition,
yeah, I mean, multiple nails in the coffin. Also, remember, Alex Jones and his legal team accidentally leaked the entirety of his phone's recorded conversations. How much do you reckon a lot of J6 stuff was on there? I'm sure he tried to keep most of it to a trader app of some sort. But come on. It's Alex Jones we're talking about. He's not terribly bright either. I expect some of that evidence is something Giuliani is reading right now, saying, look, we have this conversation that your whatever assistant had with Jones saying, please help us do this betrayal. Also, worth noting, why do we know about this? Therein is the question. Jack Smith, generally speaking, has not been leaking. At least, if he has, it's been in a way that always happens immediately after Trump folks get access to information. So if it's Jack Smith leaking, why would he do it? I don't know. Maybe to stop us from tearing down FBI field offices as we are in search of justice. I would think more likely this got leaked from the Trump side of things. Probably Giuliani himself as a, I don't know, really. This is pure speculation. Maybe as a heads up. Regardless, it's interesting that we know about this.
addition to testifying before the criminal grand jury, we also reported here on the Midas Touch Network that special counsel Jack Smith's team was working out the final details of a proffer agreement with someone by the name of Michael Roman, who was Donald Trump's head of Election Day operations and was also heavily involved in the fake elector scheme. So you're seeing special counsel Jack Smith enter into these deals with people like Giuliani, Michael Roman, Mark Meadows, and ultimately, where is this all connecting? The conspiracy connecting directly to Donald Trump.
60% of U.S. pork production comes from one company owned.
Oh, Jordy got me again. Look, that's all I wanted from this. Let's talk about it on the other side. So, takeaways. Giuliani talking with the feds. No, he's not on talking feds. I mean, he is talking with federal investigators, begging for mercy. That's the right thing to do if you're Giuliani. Now is the time to beg. Mark Meadows sounds like the same thing. And why do we know about it? Don't know, but that's intriguing in and of itself to me. My one concern is that these folks on the Trump team use the media to pass along messages to each other, including warnings. But I don't see who gains what from this knowledge being out there. I really don't. I don't even truly see how Jack Smith and the investigators gain anything. Maybe as a shot across the bow to people that might want to consider themselves cooperating. That makes the most sense to me. Regardless, hey, guess what? Whole bunch of GOP folks, once again, being demonstrated to be a bunch of criminals, at least it would seem, to have engaged in a bunch of criminal activity. And we should make sure this never happens again. How do we do that? We win the House, the Senate, and the White House in 2024. Get registered to vote. Be prepared to have your local criminal gang of Republicans try to stealthily unregister you to vote. So be prepared to double check. Get as many folks as you can registered to vote. Get as many folks as you can motivated to get out there and vote blue, no matter who. By the way, in the primaries, if you want to ensure that our job in 24 after that W is even easier, get progressives in office. Get them on the ticket and then get them in office. So vote in those primaries. The link to primary days and a schedule therein is in the description. Let's drink this tea together. See what the wicked community has to say.